Have you ever heard car manufacturers tease features like rocket thrusters or rain-clearing lasers? Sounds futuristic, right? But when it comes down to it, how many of these claims actually make it to production? Some cars seem to be all talk, promising mind-blowing technology and groundbreaking performance, but end up as something quite different. Today, we're diving into the world of promise-breaking cars, vehicles that made bold claims only to fall short when it was time to deliver. Let's find out which features were real, which were hype, and what actually made it into production. Let's start with one of the most ambitious and controversial examples, the Cybertruck. Tesla's Cybertruck brought a wave of excitement with features straight out of a sci-fi movie. The truck was promised with innovative tech like rain-clearing lasers instead of wipers, unbreakable windows, and an exoskeleton made of bulletproof stainless steel. Tesla even claimed the Cybertruck could seat 6, handle serious towing and payload capacities, and achieve a range of up to 500 miles. When production models rolled out, the reality wasn't quite what Tesla had initially teased. The rain-clearing lasers? Still a dream. The unbreakable windows? Well, they famously shattered during a live demonstration. The so-called exoskeleton isn't truly load-bearing in the way Tesla hinted. It's more of a tough skin than a structural part of the car. As for performance, the towing capacity and payload fall short of competitors like the Ford F-150, and the promised 500-mile range comes only with an extra battery that compromises cargo space. On the plus side, it does have impressive acceleration, hitting 0-60 mph in just 2.6 seconds. Tesla promised a futuristic truck with performance to rival traditional pickups, but the Cybertruck falls short in several areas when compared to established models like the Ford F-150. Still, it's undeniably fast, and its stainless steel build has some durability advantages. But was it the revolution in trucks that was promised? That's up for debate. When Bugatti announced a successor to the Chiron, the company promised a car that was all new, a design that would be a complete reinvention for the brand. Fans were expecting something revolutionary, especially with Bugatti's history of pushing the boundaries in both performance and style. Instead of a brand new look, the Chiron successor came out with only subtle updates to the original design. From the wider horseshoe grille to the quad headlights, most features were either carried over or slightly modified versions of previous designs. Fans noticed these similarities right away, and the live reveal was filled with comments from disappointed fans who had hoped for a dramatic departure from the Chiron's established look. The response was a mix of admiration for Bugatti's signature elegance and disappointment that the brand hadn't dared to try something new. While the Chiron successor is still a beautiful and high-performance car, it didn't live up to the hype of being all new. Volkswagen had a daring vision for the Blue Sport, a high-performance yet affordable roadster with a mid-engine design that could rival the Mazda Miata. Featuring a 4-cylinder engine and a lightweight, sleek design, this car was intended to bring the thrill of a roadster to a broader market. VW assured fans that the Blue Sport would be practical, affordable, and very close to a production-ready model. The Blue Sport was fully functional and road legal, making it seem like a real possibility for production. Yet, despite promising that the Blue Sport would make it to market, VW ultimately left the project in limbo. Economic conditions and shifting priorities meant that this promising car never went into full-scale production. The Blue Sport was a huge missed opportunity for Volkswagen and for the affordable sports car market. With no direct rival to the Miata in sight, VW's Blue Sport concept could have filled a unique niche. Instead, it remains one of the brand's more frustrating what could have been moments. In the midst of the 1970s oil crisis, the 20th century motorcar company made waves by promising the Dale, a 3-wheeled car that could achieve a game-changing 70 miles per gallon. It was marketed as an affordable, highly efficient vehicle that would help Americans save on gas during one of the nation's most challenging economic periods. With a futuristic design and an eye-poppingly low price tag, the Dale seemed like a dream come true for budget-conscious drivers. Unfortunately, the dream was nothing more than a well-executed scam. Despite early excitement and deposits collected from would-be buyers, no real car was ever produced. The company's founder, Geraldine Elizabeth Carmichael, turned out to be a fraud, and the entire operation was eventually exposed as a hoax. The so-called production models of the Dale were little more than hollow shells, and the claims of high gas mileage and safety were completely unsubstantiated. When the truth emerged, it became one of the most notorious cases of automotive fraud in history. The Dale is a cautionary tale of how easily public trust can be abused, especially when people are desperate for an affordable solution to pressing problems. This so-called visionary promise turned into a hoax, reminding us that some promises are, unfortunately, too good to be true. The Devil 16 made headlines worldwide with claims that sounded straight out of a science fiction film. A hypercar boasting 5,000 horsepower, a 0-60 mph time of just 1.6 seconds, and a top speed of over 300 mph. The Devil 16 promised to redefine the limits of hypercar engineering and become a true supercar for the ages. While the car's custom-built engine was indeed real, bringing the Devil 16 to market proved to be far more challenging. The actual production models fell far short of the claimed specifications, with power outputs closer to 2,000 horsepower, and early versions of the car relied heavily on Corvette parts, significantly compromising the brand's intended uniqueness. Between high production costs, engineering challenges, and the struggle to achieve its lofty promises, the Devil 16 never lived up to the original hype. The Devil 16 demonstrates just how challenging it can be to translate a radical concept into practical reality. Hypercar engineering demands precision and realism, and in this case, ambition ran far ahead of what was achievable within a reasonable time frame and budget. The Vector W8 was America's bid to enter the supercar arena, promising over 1,200 horsepower, a top speed of 242 mph, and a groundbreaking design that aimed to rival the likes of Ferrari and Lamborghini. As a wedge-shaped beast of a car with aerospace-grade components, it was marketed as a fighter jet for the road. Vector did deliver a few W8s to customers, but the cars were plagued with issues that made them impractical. Overheating was a frequent problem, and the complex automatic transmission was notoriously unreliable. Test drivers and owners experienced breakdowns, and some even reported fires, which hurt Vector's credibility. The bold performance claims didn't hold up under real-world conditions, leaving customers disappointed and damaging the brand's reputation. The Vector W8 is an example of a car with ambition that ultimately outpaced its engineering. While it captured the imagination of many with its radical design and performance promises, reliability issues kept it from competing seriously against established supercar brands. In the end, the Vector W8 proved that groundbreaking design isn't enough. Longevity and dependability are essential for a supercar to succeed. The origins of the Volkswagen Beetle began with an ambitious promise by the German government. A car that would be affordable and accessible to every German family. Branded as the KDF wagon and marketed with a savings plan, the Beetle was intended to bring the freedom of the road to ordinary people, symbolizing a bright and modern future. Families could pay into a fund, and over time, their contributions would earn them their very own Beetle. Unfortunately, the funds set aside by thousands of hopeful families were redirected toward Germany's military efforts leading up to World War II. The factories that were supposed to manufacture the Beetle ended up producing military vehicles instead, and the promise of affordable personal cars for citizens was completely abandoned. No KDF wagons were delivered to the German families who had faithfully saved up, and it wasn't until after the war that the Beetle began production, becoming a symbol of post-war German engineering and simplicity. The KDF wagon is a striking reminder of how external factors can radically alter consumer promises. While the Beetle went on to become an iconic car, its initial launch was steeped in broken promises and dashed expectations. The history of the Beetle is as much about the shifting priorities of the era as it is about the evolution of one of the world's best-known vehicles. Several other cars almost made the main list for their notorious unfulfilled promises. Cars like the Bricklin SV1, billed as a revolutionary safety sports car, failed due to design flaws and reliability issues. The Cadillac Cimarron was marketed as a luxury compact, but ultimately disappointed with its underwhelming performance and quality. Even the Ford Edsel, intended to be the ultimate symbol of American automotive innovation, fell short due to its high price and quirky styling that didn't appeal to consumers. These vehicles all aimed high, but their promises didn't quite match the reality. Reflecting on these cars, it's clear that overpromising can lead to disappointment, even for the most reputable manufacturers. Ambitious claims attract consumer interest, but when reality doesn't align with expectations, reputations and brands can suffer. For the consumer, the takeaway is to balance excitement with a healthy dose of skepticism, particularly when it comes to cutting-edge features and extreme performance promises in new cars. Now, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever been intrigued by a car that overpromised and underdelivered? Drop your stories in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the automotive world and the promises that shaped and sometimes missed the mark.